Welcome to the Stretch2Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. And today I have Melanie Genest-Dardanou from Ontario, Toronto, Canada. And please, everyone, give a warm welcome. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ian. Excited to be here.
So I love to give the audience more a little bit who you are and what you've done and what you're currently doing as an occupation. So please go ahead, introduce yourself.
Okay. So where to begin? I am an RNP in Toronto, Ontario. I also have training in Fascia Stretch Therapy. I actually began my company, Stretch Therapy and Wellness, back in 2019, 2020, and it was solely a special stretch business that I started. And then since then has essentially grown into a multimodal type of wellness clinic or therapy approach where I integrate various modalities into my practice. And so that's been my main focus for the last 4 years now, going on 5 years, and it's grown tremendously. It's been, a really great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to where it's going. Big plans coming in the next couple of years, so I'm excited to see where that goes. In terms of my background, I've been in the fitness and wellness space now since, I want to say 2013, 2014 is when I began taking fitness really seriously. I started with my own personal fitness transformation, which led to me becoming a personal trainer, and then also competing in bodybuilding, doing a lot of print work with fitness modeling and such, and just working within that circuit. And then that eventually brought me to FSC, where everything just kind of transformed from there. It was life-changing.
And can you also share with the audience your passion? I know you do taekwondo, and how long have you been doing it? And I guess what got you to doing taekwondo from health and fitness? I mean, fitness and wellness, and then taekwondo. That's two different polar opposites from. But yeah, share with us.
I mean, I feel like we all kind of go hand in hand. From a young age, I took an interest in athletics. I feel like fitness, wellness, athletics kind of runs through my veins. It's something that's innate and part of me. I discovered martial arts. It's funny because as a child, my mom, she always put me in activities. So I did figure skating for 4 years. I did ballet. I did jazz tap. Wasn't so good at that. Didn't really love it. And then one year, like, I'm going to let you choose what you want to do this year. And I was like, okay, I want to do karate. And she looked at me like I had 3 kids. And she was like, I mean, bless her soul. I mean, back then, girls didn't do karate, right? Like, that was kind of a boys' sport, or at least seen that way. And here I was being like, yeah, I want to go to karate, and I want to be like Bruce Lee and the Karate Kid. And she was like, oh. And she put me in martial arts, and that's where I just flourished. Like, martial arts was absolutely going to be my sport, my thing. I love the physical challenge. I love the mental challenge, the discipline. It gave me so many like core qualities that I really built myself on, that I have to thank today for actually, a lot of my success. And so my love for martial arts started when I was 12. I continued in karate for a little bit, then we moved, and then I couldn't find another karate school, so I started in taekwondo, and then, realized that I loved taekwondo, even more because it was just so much more active. There was a lot of kicking involved, a lot of flexibility was required. And so I really loved kicking and doing like different high kicks. And so I did that throughout my teen years. And eventually, I mean, as life has it, things get in the way, and then your priorities kind of change as a young person. And so I left taekwondo before I could get my black belt, before I was able to test for it. I was really close, but never actually went through with it. And so it was something that kind of weighed on me for the last 25 years. So if there was one thing I could think, like, I don't have regrets. I don't have regrets in life. I think everything happens for a reason. I know that sounds cliche, so true. But the one thing was that I never got my black belt, and it really kind of like nagged at me in the back of my mind. And so last year, I finally got to a point in my business where I felt like I had a little bit of breathing room and, things were going organically. So I found a new taekwondo dojo here in Toronto and decided to go back to taekwondo to get my black belt and also just to, be a part of the sport again because that's what I love. And so my journey with taekwondo has been 25 years long, or 26 now, but I've had some breaks in between, but I'm really glad to be back now.
Yeah. So you had to work your way back from a white belt to black belt, correct? Or did you?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm not a black belt yet.
Mm-hmm.
I should be testing next year for my black belt, but I'm almost there. I've actually surpassed where I was previously, and so now I'm a little bit further along in my journey, but I did start from scratch, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome that your business has allowed you that to do this, to do your passion, which was taekwondo, and I'm giving the opportunity to do it because it does take a lot of effort, time away from a business to get into like taekwondo, martial arts. It takes a lot of, like I said, mental and of course physical capacity of yourself. So props to you.
Thank you. Do you play a sport, Ian?
I used to play sports growing up in high school, so basketball, volleyball, but never into martial arts. I don't know why. I think my mom didn't allow me football, any physical contact. She played volleyball growing up, so volleyball was more where my family kind of navigated towards, that and basketball and track. So, I'm sure down the road, I'm always open to trying new things, new sports. So martial arts, currently I'm into martial arts doing FSD with different athletes. So I'm open. I really am open to it. So who knows?
Highly recommend if ever get into taekwondo, Ian.
I will try. I know it's harder, I think, when you're an adult to like be with white belts with kids that are younger than you. I'm sure you have to humble yourself.
There's white belts of all ages.
I know.
There's men that people that are in their 60s starting off as a white belt. It knows no age. You just need to have the heart for it.
And to come back to me and follow up, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So Melanie, of course, you found FST, Fascia Stretch Therapy. How did that come in place? Like, were you looking for it? Was it an opportunity? Kind of give us your background of how FSD played in your career.
Yeah. I feel like it was serendipitous. It was meant to be. I had heard about Fascial Stretch as a personal trainer prior to me working with Good Life Fitness. And for some reason, could never find an actual course that taught it. And so the interest was there, and I was hoping I would come across it at some point. And then when I started working with Good Life Fitness as a PT, I quickly realized that many of the PTs there were certified in Fascial Stretch Therapy, and in fact had been certified through DTS education, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Given that you did your certification, yes, that you did it here. And so found the course through Good Life Fitness and immediately was like, I have to do this. I need to do this. I feel, it's in my soul speaking to me. And so I did the course here in Toronto with DTS education, which was an incredible experience. They are amazing to work with. I'm sure you can speak to that too. Like the course is I'm sure it's even better now. You did it last year. I did it back in 2019. And so I'm sure since then it's become, I did the course and started doing Fascial Stretch Therapy at Good Life Fitness. I was both a PT and then also a Fascial Stretch therapist. And I was so blown away by the therapy that I was telling everybody about. I was like, I don't understand why not everyone isn't doing it.
Yeah.
That's what I couldn't understand why everyone in the world was not doing it. Like, everybody needs this. Everybody needs FST. And so I quickly just started building a clientele for FST at the gym, and it got really, really popular. and then started thinking to myself, I think this needs to be its own thing. It's great to be part of personal training and it really helps my clients, but I wanted to help more people. I wanted more of the general public to know about Fascial Stretch Therapy and be able to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of paved the way for me to start my company. And so I started slowly building my company in late 2019. And then, of course, we all know what happened in 2020. It was funny because I think it was the week that I officially registered my business and was like, okay, I'm going all in on this. That's when the pandemic hit and we shut down. And
No.
it was like, well, perfect timing to start a wellness business for sure. So, I mean, that didn't stop me. It certainly made things a little bit more difficult, but, just throughout the pandemic was slowly building my business and, more and more people came. So that was encouraging. And then eventually I added the massage therapy, which I feel like Step Kit is a beautiful complement to FST. Having that manual therapy work is just like magic together. And so coming out of the pandemic, I did the massage therapy program and then added that to the business. And so that's been how it started of the journey.
That's crazy. So you went from PT, fascia stretch practitioner, you added RMT, and then now, you have this business. Because usually I heard of, of course, different combinations of RMTs adding FSD or PTs adding FSD or chiros, different practitioners. But it's interesting that you have these different modalities, like you're saying, of, tissue work, of body work for people. And the demographic that you typically work with, do you have a typical demographic population?
I get a little bit of everybody. I get, because of my background, because I'm very, have a sports background. I was a personal trainer for a long time. So, my knowledge in movement is pretty solid. I get a lot of athletes, a lot of runners, lifters, etc. I also get a lot of the general public, people who perhaps have a little bit more sedentary lifestyles. I get a little bit of everybody, I find. There's the people who want to relieve chronic pain, they want a solution to the problem that they're having. There's the people who are really focused on longevity, maintenance, health, long-term, mobility, that sort of thing. And then the recovery aspect of it as well, right? And people who want that flexibility, mobility. And so the beauty about what I do is that everything is individualized to the person. So it all depends on what that person is presenting with. I offer a variety of ways to work with me. One being more the therapeutic route, where it's very technically based, very result focused, assessment based. And those are more for people who are dealing with mobility restrictions, chronic pain, injuries, etc. And then there's the people who want more of that general wellness, maintenance, stress management, anxiety management. So that's where more of the relaxation, deep tissue, more classic massage comes into play, where it's very flowy, very, melt into the table, so to speak. And then there's also, and I integrate fascial stretch into everything I do, whether it's relaxation focused, whether, it's very technical. FST is a staple in everything that I do.
That's beautiful. And I think I can totally agree. Everyone should be on the table to experience, no matter if you're sedentary, active, aging, there is a place for everyone. And so I love that you're using this with those different demographics, and you have these different type of services towards those towards those people who are, trying to get different results. That's funny how you heard about Good Through Good Life, because there's several other, I think, people I've interviewed or talked to in the past that they've also heard FSC Through Good Life. And of course, DTS, it's pretty big out there in the GTA area. And did you ever have any hesitancy before when you enrolled in the class? Do you remember? I know it's kind of 5 years ago, but were you kind of already sold because there were people who were doing FST?
There was no hesitancy as to wanting to do the course. I knew I was going to do it. It was something I had to do. My manager actually, like, I was so excited to do it. He made me wait. I was like, please, can I do it now? Because I was doing all these courses and stuff. I was brand new personal trainer with Good Life.
Mm-hmm.
I knew 100% I needed to do it. You know, there was something inside me that was just going like this. I don't know if you've ever had, you know, those intuitive pulls, I guess, perhaps how I would describe it. But I didn't, but what the interesting part was, hadn't even experienced it for myself yet. And so I didn't really know what it was all about until I got to the course. I just knew it was something I wanted to do. I was fascinated by the body work, by what it could offer. And then once I did the course, I was blown away. I couldn't believe that this wasn't everywhere. And so that kind of made it my mission.
And so with you finding FST, and you're including FST with, those in athletic or those who want that more relaxing, do you have any success stories that you have from current patients to past patients on how FST has helped them?
Oh, yeah. I've had a gentleman come to me. So I have success stories with all kinds of clients. I'll use the athlete first. I've had athletes come to me saying that, you know, they don't know if they'll ever run again or ever play their sport again because of this issue or injury, whatever they were struggling. And FST has been able to restore pain-free movement, proper biomechanics, has gotten them running again for the first time in years, has had them back on the field playing their sport. And so super, super powerful. Like, I get chills over how incredibly powerful FST is. I've had clients with frozen shoulder where we've regained most of their mobility, or at least have reduced significantly their discomfort and pain. Knee surgeries. I've had a lady recently who she was struggling to get out of a chair. She could barely walk properly, very inhibited. And just taking one look at her posture, I could see where there were fascial restrictions within the different nets that were contributing to misalignment of the knee. And so after a few sessions, like, this is FST, and then, you know, the inclusion of some manual release therapy as well. I was able to, I think this was after even one session, like, this is how crazy FST is. She was able to get out of a chair, no problem. And I just want to, so she was here for a wedding, for son's wedding. And one of the things she wanted to do, she wanted to be able to dance at her son's wedding. And so after one session, she was able to get out of a chair. She was able to move around a lot better. It was an incredible result. Maybe like 80% restored her movement, pain-free movement. And so she was able to dance at her son's wedding, which was, you know, a beautiful thing, you know. So I'm really happy for her. So yeah, those are just some of, I mean, there's more, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how people can be transformed from, whether if it's one session or several, many months down the line, but it does have powerful effect, especially like the before and after, just having them like, how are you feeling right now? And then after the session, how are you feeling now? Totally different, as far as like how their body is feeling, or even the next day. It's just truly inspiring that what we're doing is not only helping them like physically, but even, mentally, even psychologically, just their whole body is just changed. And so that's something that I'm sure a lot of FSC practitioners can vouch for, is that what we're doing is totally different. And knowing that you are a registered massage therapist, I kind of want to kind of segue into this, but I know you were a Canadian freestyle massage champion. I'd love to kind of dive in a little bit as far as like, how did you get into this, and like why, I guess, what was your purpose of doing this event?
Yeah, so the Canadian Massage Championship is an incredible experience. And so it is it's actually part of an international organization called the International Massage Association.
Mm-hmm.
And so the founders of this association go around the world to various countries and cities all over the world, and they sanction these massage championships. And so these are done all over the world. And for the first time, Canada has now started having these championships. They're also in the States as well. In certain states, they are there. So they've already been going there, but in Canada, it's still relatively new. And this just started in Quebec, not even in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, I believe, was the third edition of the Canadian and International Massage Championship in Laval, Quebec. And so how I came across it was interesting. And again, serendipitous. I feel like it just landed in my lap somehow. I was Googling online and I was looking for continuing education opportunities, and specifically ones that I could use as perhaps a vacation to then, write off as, like a seminar or something like that, education.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for different opportunities because I have family overseas and things like that. And so my family in Greece. And so I ended up through Googling, on their webpage. And I was like, oh my God, these championships were really cool. They seem really fun and like a really great experience. And there's one in Laval, Quebec, happening in May. And I believe this was maybe January or February, something like that. And so, I don't know. I just decided, I was like, you know what? Why not go for the experience? Why not, just have a good time? I was really interested in the learning opportunities. They offer seminars. So I took the LV7 course with the 4-time world champion, Louisa Vargas, who's an incredible human on top of being an amazing therapist. And she's actually in the States. She's from the States. I don't know if you've ever heard of Louisa Vargas. I'm forgetting which state she's in right now, but she's in the States, originally from the Dominican. Anyways, beautiful human. And so I got to take a seminar with her to learn about her style. And then there's also the Massage Therapy Summit. So it involves vendors and just therapists from all over the world. And then, of course, the championship, where they have judges flying in from all over the world to come and judge the therapist. And so I ended up in the freestyle massage category, which is the largest category of the championship. And it's freestyle, meaning you can infuse your own therapy. So it's not just Swedish massage, right? That has its own category. So it means you can include a lot more joint mobilization, movement, different modalities and things like that, and experiences in addition to massage. And so I felt like this was the perfect category for me because I integrate so much fascial stretch into my therapy. So there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of joint mobilization. And so I came up with this routine, ended up going to the championship and ended up placing third in that category, which was insane because I had zero expectations going for the first time. And it was a surreal moment. Really honored. Yeah. It was an incredible experience.
Do you remember your routine? Like, did you have a set of series of stretches that you were doing or whatnot?
Yeah. So a lot of the level one, I'm still a level 1 Fascial Stretch therapist. So a lot of the level 1 stuff that I had learned, I integrated into that routine, such as, I forget the names now. I'm forgetting the names of the stretch. But a lot of the glute stretching was involved, a lot of like the cross body stuff and like the lifting off the table. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. I brought my straps to the competition and everyone was like, what is this? What are you using here? I was like, they're just Yeah, I've never seen them. The judges loved them. They
Uh-huh.
were like, "Oh, this is so cool." But yeah, it was a lot of fascial stretch therapy that I did on table, and they went wild for it. They loved it.
That is cool that you show the world what FST is. And for these judges who probably like never dove into FST, like showing them that, the type of thing, it's very fluid. Like it's a dance, right? And very different than your typical massage. And I'm sure I'll have to look it up now where I can go enter. Maybe, who knows? I might enter into it.
The registration's open. I posted it on my socials.
So,
You can go if you want the link after. I'm happy to share it. I don't think you have to be a massage therapist specifically. You need to have training,
okay.
but I mean, I would see this as an opportunity for stretch therapists as well. Why not? Right? Like you can still do, some manual compressions or something like that. You never know. Or maybe there'll be a category for fascial stretch one day. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's another good segue. As far as like how like FSD is going and whatnot, I know you've been in the industry for 5 years. I guess how do you see fascia stretch therapy evolving in the next few years? And I guess how do you see is there going to be more practitioners? Is fascia going to be a more common thing that the general public should be learning about? Where do you see fascia stretch therapy going?
Yeah. So when I was at the championship, I'll answer your question with uh, the story and then I'll elaborate. But I watched a seminar from the founder, the International Massage Association. His name is Yappy Trinenberg, and he talked about the future of massage therapy and what that looks like. And verbatim, he said the future of massage therapy includes massage, joint mobilizations, and stretching. And I was like, hey, that's what I'm doing. Like, what are you doing? So from a future point of view, like especially in my space, I see fascial stretch therapy being core modality that's used and integrated into all forms of therapy, not just for PTs, right? Like, and I think that's part of why the visibility has been a little bit limited, especially here in Toronto, perhaps, is because it's been reserved for personal trainers a lot. Like a lot of personal trainers have gone to do this, a lot of chiros, a lot of other professions too, but there's always been this separation because without having a registered title here in Toronto, you can't claim FSP under insurance. And so, which was part of my motivation too, right? Because with RMT, FSP falls under scope of practice and we're able to bill for it. So in terms of where I see it going, I see it becoming core modalities that utilize all over multidisciplinary clinics, all over professions, not just, in the sports realm, like becoming more mainstream in dealing with chronic pain and just healthcare in general, right? Like more healthcare integration, more professionals. I'd love to see it as, something that can be used for insurance, right? Like reflexology can be used for insurance, right? Like why can't fascial stretch? So without being a designated, PT or chiro or physio is what I'm getting at. And so it would be great to see more of it everywhere.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I think I even had a conversation with another FSD practitioner saying that if doctors can prescribe FSD for rehab, even for physiotherapists, if they can prescribe FSD, that'll be awesome as far as recovery wise, because in essence, it's helping them extend that rehab process. Once their insurance, they run out of insurance, who do they go to? Where did they get their rehab from? Are they going to do it by themselves, or can they use FSD to extend that rehab to, of course, keep them into that maintenance mode? Because I feel it's important. It's easy to get back to injury, but if you don't have a modality to include, whether if it's, weekly, monthly, especially towards the aging population. When I was doing my assisted stretching, I just saw that need, that FST needed to be there for them, especially because, the older you get, it's hard to be mobile. And when they're sedentary, it's hard for them to do anything. So I think that's where FST can come into play, say, hey, this is helping you to be more mobile, to do things that you're missing out on. And so I love how you had this seminar and that you went to heard from this guy saying that FSTs, stretching is part of the future of massage.
Yeah, and I see it transforming the way that we treat as RMCs as well. And I think there's a reason why I ended up as an RMC as well. And I think that to perhaps help introduce more of this into our profession as RMCs, to include more stretching, specifically fascial stretch, joint mobilization, to really use that as a tool. And so I'd love to see more RMCs treating this way as well.
When you're sitting with clients, do you have to explain like what fascia stretch therapy is, or the word fascia? Do you give them some kind of analogy, or, in simplicity, how to explain what fascia is and what you're doing?
Yeah, sometimes I have to explain it. Sometimes they already have a little bit of knowledge. But yeah, the word fascia is still one of those things where people kind of go like, what? What is fascia? And so, yeah, it's connective tissue found at all over the body from head to toe. And if you were to imagine yourself in a morph suit of connective tissue, that's what it would be under your skin. So I try to, you explain it in terms that is understandable, obviously. Yeah.
And then my last few questions I have for you is to that person who is looking into doing fascia stretch therapy through Stretch2Go, and if they're on the fence about it, what advice would you give that person?
If they're on the fence about it?
Yeah, about registering for the fascia stretch course through Stretch2Go.
I feel like there's no other choice, right? If you're going to do fascia stretch therapy, you're doing it with Stretch2Go. That's the best place to do it. I don't see any other options, to be honest. So if you're choosing between one or the other, it's like Stretch2Go. Regardless, I feel like even doing the course will expand your knowledge. If you're feeling pulled towards body work, towards rehabilitative work, if you're if you're a personal trainer, you want to gain a better understanding of the human body, how it moves, how to improve movement, there's no way you're going to lose doing this course. It's 100% going to have a return on investment. I always see education as being an investment. There's no downside to learning, right? You're always going to learn something new. And even if that experience brings you somewhere else, right, it's still valuable. So I would encourage anyone who's interested to do it, for sure.
And you said that you have some exciting things featuring the plan. What are some of your long-term goals that you have for your business in the coming years?
And so, expansion, helping more people in whatever capacity that looks like, whether it's growing the clinic itself and the team, or just expanding my reach in some way. I'd like to help more people. I'd like to see the kind of therapy that I'm doing expand across, Toronto, Canada. I'd like to see more people, more RMTs, including Fascial Stretch Therapy into their practice. So yeah, whatever that looks like, I'm open to what the universe kind of creates for me, but I'd like to see this grow. That's been my mission from the start, is to, expand fascial stretch, to integrate that into more, everyday health self-care, rehabilitative work that helps people live a longer, healthier life.
And then my last question for you is, I guess, what strategies have you found most effective in growing your business from, reaching new clients to just expanding your services?
What strategies have been the most helpful?
Yeah, like how have you grown your business from the time that you started till, now currently, like what ways have you found the most effective to getting new clients or building more services or your team?
And the best way to grow your business is to create raving. And so my strategy from the beginning has been to offer a service that's unlike any other, that focuses on getting results and helping people the best way I can, the fastest way I can.
Mm-hmm.
And so creating those raving clients, right? And so because there's no better marketing than I built I built a six-figure business off of a Google page and referrals because I didn't have a budget for marketing, meta ads, all of that stuff, nor was it really the time to be doing that during a pandemic, right?
Uh-huh.
So I built my business by creating raving clients, people who would rave about my service, people who would rave about the kind of treatment they got. And how do you create raving clients? By actually helping them, like by really understanding and knowing what it is that they need,
Mm-hmm.
right? Through assessing, through understanding the body, through knowing your craft, and getting them the results that they need so that they can, get back to their life. So that's been the best strategy because I still get lots of referrals. And, the lady that danced at her son's wedding, she she's raving, right? Like she's raving about that because it meant a lot to her to be able to do that. And so if you can help people in a big way like that, then the business creates itself.
Yeah,
People will find you.
I like that. I like that actually. That's very true. Thank you for sharing that.
100%. Yeah. I'm so curious. I know we've talked a lot about me, but I'd love to know what inspired you and how you got to DTS in Toronto last year.
Yeah, so I guess in short, I actually found Stretch to Win via YouTube and Instagram. I saw a stretch therapist one time when I was working at a physical therapy clinic a year ago. I got introduced to doing assisted stretching through the owner, and she told me, "Hey, go ahead. I want you to do assisted stretching for people who are being discharged from their care." And so it was just me. I was trying to figure out how to do assisted stretching, and then eventually down the line, I was like, "Who is this person with these straps on, stretching someone, working on their body?" I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Went down the rabbit hole where I found that there were more people doing it. And so when I went to go to Stretch to Win, I found out you can actually get certified. And it took me about a couple months until I actually enrolled because I was first getting used to assisted stretching, knowing what it was, because I was doing my own modality, but I wasn't finding the results I wanted. And so once I enrolled, I was like, this is something I think I should do because A, they're credible. She's been doing it for 25 years. B, they've written books. They've, worked with so many different Olympic athletes, professional athletes. They know their stuff. So that really resonated with me because I wanted to, once again, find a modality that I could actually put into work and get results. And I enrolled, and I just happened to go to Canada because it's closer to me instead of having to go to Arizona. So that's the reason why I went to doing this type of work, because when I saw that and when I was doing assisted stretching, I was like, I know these aging population could benefit through this. They felt great. It's just I want to find an actual way to do it properly, instead of just holding a static stretch or dynamic stretch. I made up my own technique where I need to find someone to teach me the correct way, if that makes sense. So for a year straight, I didn't know anything about Stretch2Go. And then, of course, when I went to get certified in July, myself, when I got stretched on a table, that felt amazing. And I think that really resonated to me as saying, hey, this is something everyone should do. And I'm sure this is what I could do as a business. So in July, I opened up my own business and I've been doing it since then. So it's where I'm at in my journey. And so I'm hoping that, just like yourself and many people I've interviewed, is like, this is a long-term goal. I've only been doing, FST for 4 months, and it's been truly amazing because I think everyone can benefit.
Wow. Only 4 months. That's incredible. Good for you.
Yeah. But it's definitely a grind. I mean, it's not like yourself when you started during the pandemic at the wrong timing, but like there's, with social media, I think I'm trying to leverage that because I'm new to Maryland. I don't know. This is not my home state. I'm really starting from the ground up, just like yourself. I don't have clients. I have to go find clients. I have to go find those who are actually seeing what I'm doing. So yeah, it's tough being a solopreneur, but I find it more of a reward when I can actually see the results from clients or the results of my work. So I'm really thinking this as a long-term game than a short-term, like, try to get this quick. No, this is going to take time. I know that because it's so new to people and people aren't looking to get FST work. They're looking to get something else, but I'm trying to introduce it to many people as I can, get them on the table. That's my goal. More people, then like you're saying, hopefully they can refer, hopefully they'll be clients. I don't know. It's the work for me is done on the table. And then I'm hoping that, it'll translate from there on.
Exactly. It'll take a little time, but it's an incredible therapy, and keep with it because once people experience FST, there's no going back. The number one thing I hear about people that try FST for the first time is how different it feels than what they were expecting. It's not just your, typical stretches, like you said, holding a static stretch. It's so much more than that. The feeling is so different. When you feel, when it's done right, of course,
Yeah.
you feel the fascia, the connection, the fascial net from one part of the body to another. It's not something you can replicate necessarily on your own. It's very different. And so anyone who is on the fence about trying it, go see Ian ASAP. Now, go see him. He stretches people on the beach. Just that alone, I want to come down to Maryland and get stretched on the beach.
You just have to go to the coast of Canada, which is, I don't know, Newfoundland. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or head over to Vancouver. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm excited for you because if there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing where you are right now, that's incredible. That's amazing. You get to pave the way. You get to introduce us to people, and so keep doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just like I said, I'm glad I got to have you on the podcast because I love to learn from different people who are doing FST, into different practices and their own style and the method. I think that just shows the beauty of how FST can be incorporated into different modalities and different work. So thank you again for hopping onto this episode, Melanie.
Thank you, Ian. I love what you're doing. And thank you again for inviting me. This was a blast.
And then last but not least, could you please, I love to promote your business and your work and what you're doing. So if you can share with the audience how people can contact you to getting an FST session or even massage, share with us your social media handle, website, email, and your physical work location so people can book a session. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm located in Toronto, Ontario, at 26 Redstone Park Crescent, in the Little Portugal neighborhood. And you can reach me at Melanie at melaniedardanou.com. That's my email. Website is stretchtherapyco.com. You can book online via the website as well. And social media right now, I'm doing Instagram is Melanie_Genest_Dardanou. feel free to reach out.
Yes, and I'll put those in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I'm looking forward to your new ventures in the coming years, and of course, following you. So thank you again, Melanie, for hopping on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Stretch2Go podcast. And if you're interested and learn to become a fascia stretch practitioner, please go to stretch2win.com. You can learn more about how Melanie and I got certified. Thanks, everyone.